Hi, I'm Steve. You can call me Steve. You can't tell by looking at me, but I am swarming in single-celled organisms called bacteria. They're all over my skin and throughout my digestive system. I know that sounds disgusting, but it's perfectly normal. The same is true of you. Don't reach for the Purell just yet. Humans play host to all sorts of microbes, and for the most part they're perfectly harmless. Some of them are even beneficial and vital to our well-being. Before I get too carried away, yes, there are harmful bacteria. This is why we expend so much effort making sure our food and water are clean. Both of those are things that go into your mouth and points beyond, which means they've gotten past your first line of defense, which is your skin. There are around 1,000 different species of bacteria that live symbiotically on human skin. Some simply live there without causing harm, but also without offering any benefit to us, and are termed commensal. Others are beneficial to us and are termed mutualistic. Even the commensal ones offer limited benefit just by being there. Their presence prevents other actively harmful bacteria from colonizing our skin. Our intestines work best when they have the right collection of bacteria living in them. Again, some are commensal, some are mutualistic. The bacteria get a safe place to live and a steady supply of food. And in return, some of them help digest our own food and produce vitamins we wouldn't otherwise have. It's a symbiotic relationship that's existed for millions of years. When we don't have the right intestinal flora, our health suffers. First and foremost, if you lose your native gut bacteria, you make room for nasty types to invade you. Secondly, you disrupt the normal digestive processes these bacteria are helping with, which could lead to diarrhea or malnutrition or worse. There's also vague evidence that a person's weight is possibly influenced by the health of their intestinal flora. If you do end up out of balance, there is a treatment, and that's to get a donation from someone with a healthy population of gut bacteria. It's called a fecal transplant, and it's exactly what it sounds like. They take a swab of somebody else's poop, and they shove it up your... Anyway. Most bacteria can't be easily classified as good or bad. It depends on how strong your immune system is, and where the bacteria are in your body. Things that are completely harmless on your skin can cause all sorts of trouble if they get into your lungs. Likewise, E. coli is a species of bacterium that lives harmlessly in your large intestine and makes you horribly sick if it lives anywhere else. Bacteria will also colonize an open wound, which is why these days we disinfect wounds and take great pains to keep bandages and dressings sterile. Before we understood this, infected wounds would take a long time to heal, and in many cases would be fatal. Fecal bacteria contaminating water and food supplies would cause plagues and kill thousands. Hundreds of years ago, armies would lose far more soldiers to disease and infected wounds than they would in direct combat. Modern antibiotics are amazing, life-saving products, and like most new products, they've been horribly misused. In the mind of the public, the term bacterium has acquired a meaning similar to germ, some hideous little bug that's going to make you sick. Remember, most bacteria are harmless or even beneficial, especially if they're only on your skin. However, in the quest to wipe out the bad ones, we've gone a little overboard and tried to wipe out them all, and that hasn't worked. Upsetting the balance of our onboard bacteria allows bad ones to gain a foothold and cause trouble. We're also breeding superbugs. Certain products advertise themselves as killing 99.9% of germs. But that 0.1% that survives will now reproduce like crazy, and it's inherited an immunity to the antibiotic. Your immune system needs to be exposed to germs in order to function properly. This is why it's okay for kids to play in the dirt. Obviously, there are limits to this. You really don't want to let them drink out of the toilet or roll around in dog poop. However, getting dirty is normal for kids. I'm not a parent, but if you are, you know this better than I do. If you raise them in a sterile environment, their immune systems don't get calibrated properly and they develop allergies. That last isn't 100% accurate, but there's been at least one study done suggesting that kids raised with dogs develop fewer allergies, because dogs are almost as filthy as children, and the kids were exposed to the dog's germs, which in turn led to their immune systems learning to make appropriate responses to foreign substances. That's bacteria. They're everywhere, and for the most part they're harmless. You definitely want to disinfect any cuts you get and ensure that anything you eat or drink is sterile, but you don't need to sanitize everything you own. As always, take things on a case-by-case basis and don't just lump all microbes in with the germs. Thanks for watching. I've been Steve.